I picked up a hitchhiker once just outside Elkhorn, Wisconsin. He vanished from my car without opening the door. I've only told this story once before, and I wish I'd never opened my mouth. The look on my buddy's face when I told it. He didn't laugh, didn't crack a joke. He just went pale and said, "You saw him too?" Anyway, it was mid-October, a few years back, cold enough at night that your breath hung in the air like smoke. I'd just finished a late shift, bartending at this little roadhouse off Route 11, and I was heading home around 2:30 in the morning. The road was empty, the kind of quiet that makes you turn the radio off just so you don't feel watched. I was maybe 20 minutes outside town when I saw him. A guy walking along the side of the highway, thumbing for a ride. He had this old military duffel slung over one shoulder, wearing a dark wool coat and one of those old-school train conductor hats. I don't usually stop for hitchhikers. Who does anymore? But something about him, I don't know, he looked tired, worn out, like he'd been walking for miles. So I slowed down, rolled down the passenger window. "You headed toward Lake Geneva?" I asked. He nodded once, didn't smile, didn't say thanks, just opened the door, climbed in, and shut it real soft. The weird thing? I don't remember hearing it latch. We drove in silence for a while. I glanced over a few times, trying not to stare, but something was off. His coat was damp, like he'd been caught in a storm, but the skies had been clear all day, and his shoes, they looked old, like 1940s old. Finally I asked, "Where are you coming from?" He said, "Been on the rails, heading home." His voice was quiet, raspy, not tired exactly, just distant. I asked where home was, but he didn't answer, just looked out the window like he was watching something in the trees. That's when I noticed the air in the car had gone cold, not just chilly, freezing. I checked the vents. Heat was on full blast. I even cranked the dial just to be sure. Still cold. And there was this smell, like old cigarettes and iron. We passed a mile marker, 27. I remember because it's the last one I saw before everything went sideways. About 5 minutes later, I glanced over again, and he was gone. Gone. No sound, no movement. The door never opened. The seat belt was still fastened, just hanging there loose. I pulled over so fast I nearly fish-tailed into a ditch. Jumped out, checked the back seat, checked the road behind me. Nothing, no sign of him. But here's the part that really messed me up. There was a handprint on the window, on the inside, but not fresh, like one of those greasy prints that's been there a while and only shows up in fog. Long fingers, thin, smudged just enough to make you feel like it wasn't human. I didn't sleep that night, barely slept the next week. A couple months later, I was back at the bar. Winter now, snow piled high. Some older guy came in, had that long-haul trucker look. We got to talking. I mentioned the stretch of highway and said I'd had a weird night there once. He just stared at me and asked, "Did he have a train hat?" My stomach dropped. He told me a story from the 80s. Same road, same description, same disappearance. Apparently, back in the 1940s, a train derailed near Elkhorn. One of the brakemen tried to walk to town for help. He never made it. Folks found his body in a ditch, miles away from where he started. Frozen solid, face twisted, like he'd seen something awful. They buried him just off Route 11. No marker, just a patch of land the locals don't talk about. Now, I don't drive that road after dark. If I have to, I keep the passenger seat empty and locked. Doesn't matter how cold it gets. And sometimes, when I pass mile marker 27, my radio cuts out. Just for a second, long enough to hear a whisper I can't quite make out. It always feels like someone's watching. So here's what I keep asking myself. If he was just a ghost, why did the seat still smell like smoke the next morning?